Hi, this is Jonathan Rotz, field agronomist with Pioneer, and continuing on this topic about how to get 10% better. One of the key fundamentals to growing a good crop is obviously fertility. In later videos, we'll talk about specific parts of fertility, but I'd just like to put an overarching thought in our minds about what fertility really is. Fertility is really the building blocks of our crop. This is very similar to like building a house or building a barn. Think about your fertility as those components that you need in order to get your project done. For instance, if you're building a shed, you need 2x4s, you need metal sheeting, you need screws, you need all these different things. And those components will be utilized not only in building, but also will be utilized and taken up. You don't put a 2x4 one place and then pull it off and move it to another place. Some of our largest parts of our fertility, think about NPK, even our sulfurs and things like that. That's why we use so much, because they're actually utilized in the structural components of those plants, as well as used a lot through the metabolic processes. Now, as we think about our different components, every single component is critical. We think about the Liebig's law of the minimum. You can't surpass whatever the lowest stave on that barrel is. So if you're growing a corn crop and you're putting down 200 units of nitrogen, that's just as critical as the maybe 1 to 2 pounds of boron, let's say. If either one of those staves are short, we're going to come up short with yield in the end. Now, similarly as well, some of these large structural components are needed in these large capacities. However, the smaller components might be like, instead of the screws, but maybe the impact driver, where it could be used here and then transferred to another one. You don't need one impact driver per one screw. That's why some of these micronutrients can be used in so many different ways. Now, all of this is really rough and rudimentary, but I think you can understand why this is so important and why this correlates well. The other part of this is just the actual implementation of getting the fertility to the plant. Very similar. Let's think about a building project, right? If you have a large building project underway, you need a lot of materials moving to that very quickly and in a timely fashion. If all of your wood and structural components shows up weeks after your steel has been there, it doesn't do you as much good. It has held up that whole process. That's why timing of nutrition is so critical as well. Again, we'll go into individual aspects of this in future videos, but hopefully this gives you a large overview of why nutrition to that plant is so important. Last little bit, remember, pretty much all nutrition comes to the plant through mass flow. So we have to have soil moisture in order to get that. We'll talk about this more as we talk throughout the season as well. I hope you find these videos informative and helpful, and we can all work together at getting 10% better.
That concludes this Pioneer Agronomy video podcast. Visit our page on pioneer.com and follow us on Twitter and Facebook for more agronomy insights.